Recap in minutes. In today's video, we will be going through a war action film entitled War Pigs. There will be spoilers ahead, chill out and enjoy. The movie begins with a soldier receiving a battalion order, which he had confirmed twice, and delivering it to another soldier. Again, a fight breaks out a few seconds later. Bullets are flying everywhere, but Sergeant and Lieutenant are now in command. Upon talking to his lieutenant, the sergeant mentions that their location would be ideal for an ambush. All of the sudden, bombs are bursting all around, and the commotion is back to usual. Because they need to locate the flank, they keep traveling low and slow. One by one shots are fired by the lieutenant, while the sergeant remains behind. Suddenly, a bullet pierces the sergeant's chest and he falls to the ground. In order to take revenge for the murder of the sergeant's killer, the lieutenant must go close enough to engage in a deadly fight. After that, the lieutenant is praised by the colonel for following orders. Following this, he chooses to reassign his duties as a frontman. A new captain presents him as a combat partner for lieutenant. Those who will be trained by them will be referred to as war pigs. Men used to have breakfast by playing outdoors and snatching eggs. They are playing cards and discussing their accomplishments. While seated at a meal, a soldier interrupts the laughter of the others by announcing the arrival of a new commander. To reach the war pigs, the lieutenant and sergeant must keep moving forward. As they talk, tension increases because these individuals, notably the team leader, are unable to follow directions and rules in their entirety. They've had a few conversations and will soon begin training with the United States military. To pull the war pigs out of bed, the lieutenant bangs on metal objects to wake them up around 5 a.m. It is the sergeant of the squad who is the last to arrive, resulting in displeasure for the lieutenant. It's still nerve-wracking for both of them to talk about how the lieutenant killed his troops. Training for the top squad in the U.S. Army has the soldiers walking for 3 kilometers in a double line. They continue trekking despite the fact that they are dizzy and throwing up. As they near the end of the line, the captain makes an effort to surprise them with a massive pile of sandbags as a reward. The soldiers were perplexed by the massive stack of heavy bags. While trekking, the captain requires them to carry these. After a long and exhausting period of preparation, the troops are now learning how to communicate effectively on the battlefield. Even yet, the team sergeant is making a mockery of the officers and treating them with contempt. They set off for the mountains once again, this time with a hefty pack on their backs. They need to be able to depict what they see on the battlefield in order to explain and record it. A bowl of fruits is set up for each soldier, and they are instructed to sketch it for 2 minutes at a time. War pigs and their squad commander appear to find it drawing and don't understand why they need it to draw. A plan B is requested by the lieutenant. Beautiful woman enters and lets folks sketch her while taking off her clothing. Then it's back to the mountains for some more training, this time looking for landmines. Their next exercise involves trekking with a large bag above their heads. The German K-98 will be the subject of the following lesson. Even as they are blindfolded, they are learning its pieces and the whole process of putting it together. Finally, the day's training comes to a close as the sun sets. On patrol, the captain observes a lieutenant's trousers have several dangling medals. As he claims, it came from the sergeant he served with. According to the captain, it's possible that the lieutenant is hoarding them to avoid being reminded of his mistakes, but instead, he can't seem to escape his past. Outside, in the dark, with fires as their only source of light, the troops are conversing about a lieutenant whom they've grown to like. The lieutenant then comes, bringing them a cup of steaming coffee to slake their thirst. After a good night's sleep, they wake up to training. Their first lesson was rope climbing, which went well at first until they decided to add a few small dynamites to the river to speed things up. As part of their next lesson, they'll learn how to protect themselves with a knife. The preacher is first in line for training because he taunts the captain by calling him a frog. He is unable to protect himself from the captain's attacks. The squad sergeant's lieutenant, on the other hand, was able to break up a knife fight. August's rants about how the lieutenant is going to murder them all while also losing the game are becoming more and more ridiculous. Later, the captain and lieutenant present them with a new insignia, a badge with a skull and black backdrop. A fight is imminent, as indicated by the commander's announcement that they are moving behind enemy lines. There is no doubt in the minds of the War Pigs team leader that he has their best interests at heart. They have returned to their camp, where they will meet the colonel the next day. Also, they're talking about how much they miss being back at home and seeing their family. There is a colonel in France's Alsace-Lorraine area, and he has brought along a lot of photos for them to look at. Many people may be killed with the cannons in this illustration. Both, the captain and the lieutenant, are being asked to investigate the possibility that Hitler is creating something like this. The War Pigs commanders arrive later in the day. They learned about Hitler's intention to create a millipede rifle as a new superweapon. Pressurized cannon with a range of nearly 100 miles for artillery fire. The soldiers inquire as to its specific location and are told that it is in Alsace-Lorraine, France. The troops claim it's long distance beyond enemy lines and territory, which comes as quite a shock to them. There is no doubt in their minds that the war pigs are prepared and capable, according to the lieutenant. In order to proceed, the captain instructs them to choose a driver. Moffat is now driving with the lieutenant, and he aimlessly says his wife wants to go to Germany jokingly. Lieutenant Jack consoles him that he will see her again. They've crossed the enemy line, and they're all taking shelter in the shadows as a few planes swoop above. As they're on the wrong side of the border, they're forced into a standstill, unsure whether they'll be shot because they're visible to the enemy. Seeing that the planes are taking too long to view, they all decide to take a break and go about the airfield. The team leader of the war pigs asks the sergeant where precisely they are. This cannon should be west of where they are on Hill 314, according to the lieutenant. The war pig sergeant and his one soldier are already out in the field, so they're looking for 2 more scouts. Somebody must accompany Officer Captain on his rounds. One of the soldiers, Preacher, agrees to leave right away. He is instructed to go to the very end of the road, get down low, keep an eye out for activity, and return quickly to the original area if he spots anything. As they go across the road, the lieutenant, along with 2 men, see a large cannon forming low in the sky above their position. According to their estimates, the object is 600 feet in the air, which is a lot of space, but it seems to be functional. Having completed their mission, the lieutenant has instructed them to leave the area. When the sergeant asks whether that's all there is to report, they proceed to do so, which is a little perplexing. Moffat is working in mining holes in the captain's area, and he's doing an excellent job of it. Preacher informed the danger of German armors coming down the road as he ran among the people. If the opponent spots them, they'll be exposed. They are now scurrying about in the shadows, fending off the incoming threats that are now right in front of them. In contrast, the Germans are calmly strolling while the soldiers are in a state of fright. When they are captured, the Germans yell as they toss a camouflaged grenade. While everything is going on, the lieutenant who was wounded by the thrown grenade collapses to the ground and is injured by bomb shock. The German has now joined the 2 soldiers in the armored vehicle. 2 massive armored trucks arrive at the captain's and his soldiers' hiding place. The captain assumes it was a routine maintenance check, given they landed in the precise spot where they are now. Nervously concealing, the troops are exhausted. The smoke of a cigarette draws a German soldier closer to their cover. When the German soldier spots their vehicle, the captain is quick to get his rifle ready. A bullet is fired towards the opponent in response to his command. A new war has begun. The war pig soldier tosses a grenade at the Germans as they continue delivering gunfire to each other. The captain boldly moves outside the bushes as he shoots the adversary inside the car. A new grenade is tossed at the enemy, and they appear to lose their number. Loads of bullets is going in and through. The captain goes through a struggle with a German soldier. He shoots it dead with the last adversary remaining. The captain is now seeking for more adversaries to shoot with when he feels an aching in his stomach. There, he sees and touches blood. A war pig soldier approached his way and inquired if he was well. 2 enemy troops were fleeing from their rear, and he instructed the soldier to grab them. He softly yells in anguish as his stomach area wraps in crimson. Laying down in the midst of the jungle, the lieutenant gets back up from a straight distress shot of a grenade. He sees 2 German troops sprinting their way out, and the 2 soldiers kill them in no time. Once he meets his squad, he then tells that their men, August and York, were seized by the German patrol. They then hastily return back to the squad. Arriving there, they notice the captain being treated with his wound. He worriedly asks him if he is alright. He reports to the captain that they sighted the millipede cannon a few kilometers from their position, and it is absolutely active. So they will enter into the German depot and let their men out. Minutes later, they shift into German uniforms to rescue their team's captured troops. This time they receive the German tank, camouflaged. The captain says there's a 50-50 chance they'll make it out alive or perish, and then the tank rolls on. August and York, on the other hand, are shackled. The Germans are now questioning their actions on own soil. York tells him they enjoyed a roll on the crazy. The soldier smacks him in the face with hatred. The other men are now aboard the tank moving in the German depot. They confidently pass past the security checkpoint. The lieutenant instructs them to be watchful. Back on the site, York is being hit in the face, leaving him bruised. The German asks him what his hidden weapon is. Says proceed to the next page with the nude woman drawing and receives a huge punch. He then hits the sergeant, knocking them both down. YORKE stabs the German in the neck with a sharp wood. When the lieutenant returns to gather his soldiers, he discovers a drawn map of the cannon and folds it. A German soldier comes and offers his lighter for his cigarette, but is quickly knocked out. After a few more steps, the lieutenant sees his comrades being hanged. Jack discreetly defends himself with his knife. YORKE jokes to August about the rope training. Swiftly chops the German soldier's neck and continues punching their enemy's guys. While several of the guys are out of breath, Jack is battling them hard. He twists the final man's neck. He kills them all with ease. A fierce battle takes the lieutenant's troops out of the yard. He lends the sergeant his knife to escape. The other troops hear the Germans going to test the millipede cannon. The lieutenant and his troops leave, but a soldier he knocked returns shortly. He then chases him and initiates a gun battle. Alarmingly, the Germans are now fighting the war pigs and their commanders. They never stop shooting. Now, the soldiers begin firing grenades at their enemies. It's a fierce battle. The lieutenant rushes in, clambering up the tank in a rush. Once the tank is stopped, he tells the captain to aim the cannon towards the target. The millipedes flee in joy as the captain unleashes a powerful shot. When the colonel returns to his division, he tells everyone that the large map of the cannon's components will make everyone in the division very happy. He raises the lieutenant to a higher rank, praising him and the war pigs. He'll be even better than they are as their leader. The movie ends with the lieutenant returns to the camp and praising his soldiers, claiming that they are the greatest in the army. Then, they give a round of applause, chanting to the war pigs. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more videos like this and to help the channel grow.